Today, we're diving into the massive digital revolution that's shaking up every single job in aviation, from the pilot in the cockpit to the engineer on the ground. So let's kick things off with a big question. What if nearly a third of all jobs in the entire aviation industry, we're talking everything from the cockpit to the maintenance hangar, were on the verge of being completely redesigned? Well, here's the thing. It's not a what if, it's happening right now. And this massive shift is creating this urgent, kind of unprecedented demand for a whole new generation of aviation pros. Just how big is this demand? Well, get ready for this number. According to Boeing's latest outlook, the industry needs to find 2.4 million new professionals by the year 2044. I mean, that number is absolutely staggering, and it's a huge signal that we're at a real turning point. So what's behind this crazy number? We're really looking at a perfect storm of factors. You've got global fleets growing to meet a huge rebound in travel, a massive wave of baby boomer pilots hitting their mandatory retirement age, and, of course, a technological revolution that's changing the very definition of what an aviation career even is. Let's actually break that 2.4 million down, because it's wild. We're talking about a need for 710,000 maintenance technicians, 660,000 pilots, and a cool million new cabin crew members. So yeah, this isn't just one little corner of the industry. The demand is everywhere. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about filling empty seats. The Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore estimates that up to 30% of existing aviation jobs are going to be significantly redesigned by technology. So the roles people are training for today will look completely different tomorrow. Think about it like this. We're moving from a world of manual processes and paper logbooks to one where professionals are supervising AI systems, making these quick, data-driven decisions, and basically operating in a digital-first world. It really requires a whole new way of thinking. Okay, so if the jobs themselves are changing, what skills do you actually need to succeed? Well, that brings us to what I'm calling the new digital toolkit, a set of skills that are becoming absolutely essential for pretty much anyone in the industry. There are really 4 big pillars to this new skill set. First, you've got to be able to analyze massive amounts of data. Second, you need to understand predictive maintenance tools. Third is getting familiar with digital twin technology. And finally, you have to have a baseline of cybersecurity awareness because, well, everything is connected now. Let's just zoom in on predictive maintenance for a sec, because honestly, this is a total game changer. Instead of waiting for a part to break, machine learning algorithms are analyzing data to predict failures before they happen. And what does that mean? Fewer delays, lower costs, and a massive boost in safety and efficiency. And then you've got digital twin technology. Now, this sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's very real. Imagine having a perfect, real-time virtual copy of an entire aircraft engine. Technicians can use it to troubleshoot some complex problem or practice a really difficult repair, all in a completely safe, simulated space before they ever lay a hand on the physical plane. And if you're wondering if this stuff actually works in the real world, just listen to this. This quote, which is inspired by the work happening at American Airlines, shows how they used AI to optimize their gate assignments. A 4-hour manual headache turned into a task that takes less than 3 minutes. This isn't just a theory. It's on the ground, working today. With all these new skills required, the next obvious question is, how are people learning them? Well, the answer is that training itself is getting a radical, high-tech makeover. The difference is just stark. Traditional training, it was often stuck in one location, was incredibly expensive, and always had some real-world risks. But digital training, using tools like VR and AR, is accessible 24/7 from anywhere. It's way more cost-effective and lets people practice in these super realistic, immersive scenarios with zero risk. And here's the human side of that. This reflects what we're hearing from programs at airlines like Commute Air, and it shows you the power of this new approach. Pilots can master complex procedures in virtual reality from their living room, so when they finally get into that multi-million-dollar simulator, their time is spent perfecting skills, not just learning the basics from scratch. And trust me, this is not some niche trend. The major players are all in on this. The U.S. Air Force has Project Fusion for VR flight training. The International Air Transport Association, that's IATA, uses something called Ramp VR to train ground crews. And Boeing offers computer-based training that you can access on any device, anywhere in the world. But look, this transformation isn't just about ones and zeros and fancy software. To make all of it actually work, the industry has to focus on the human element, on culture, on teamwork, and on the people who make up the modern crew. And it really comes down to 3 pillars. First, you have to create a culture where learning never stops. Second, you have to double down on those critical soft skills, like crew resource management, which is all about communication and teamwork in high-stakes places like the cockpit. And third, a serious, real commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that last pillar is just so important. These numbers show you the stark reality of the diversity gap among pilots in the US right now. To meet that massive demand for new talent we talked about, the industry absolutely has to draw from a much wider, more representative talent pool. This isn't just an ethical thing, it's a strategic necessity. And there's a ticking clock here. The FAA is projecting that around 4,300 pilots will hit the mandatory retirement age every single year for the next 2 decades. This retirement wave just makes that need to attract new, diverse talent more urgent than ever. So we've talked about the challenge, we've talked about the skills. Now for the really exciting part. All this disruption is creating entirely new career paths that they didn't exist a few years ago. Just think about these job titles for a second. We're going to need sustainable aviation fuel developers who are literally inventing cleaner ways for us to fly. We'll need aerospace, AI specialists to design the very systems we've been talking about. Aviation cybersecurity analysts will be essential to protect the industry's digital backbone. And we'll even see roles like blockchain credential managers. And that last one, it's not science fiction. Lufthansa is already using blockchain to solve a huge problem: trust. It lets them create this tamper-proof digital passport for every aircraft part and every mechanic, one that can be instantly verified by any airline or regulator in the world. The future is definitely arriving faster than we think. So, the crucial point here is this: the digital transformation of aviation isn't some distant forecast. It's happening right now. It's a challenging, complex, and honestly, an incredibly exciting time for the industry. The digital future has already landed. The only real question left is, are you ready for takeoff?